The year is 1945. This is the year that World War II ended. Hitler's influence ended, but during his reign, he gave crosses to mothers for birthing so many children. But we'll tie this back in later. Now, in the year 1945, many significant things happened, but in late November, a little girl is born. Now, she's of no real significance. She doesn't contribute to science or anything like that, but she's important in the fact that she grew up in the Cold War to fall in love with a soldier after the wall went up. After all this happened, she became the most important person in my life. She became my grandmother. Now, during the Cold War, so much happened. In the beginning, Churchill warned that an Iron Curtain has descended across Europe, splitting communism from democracy. Churchill stated that we must band together to resist further Soviet expansion and warned that if free nations could not stop the spread, catastrophe may overwhelm us all. This Iron Curtain would cause tensions between communists and democratic allies. The first sign of this tension was when the Soviets first blockaded West Berlin. This was an attempt to push the Allies out of Berlin to unite it under communist rule. But when this began, Americans and the British collaborated and came up with the solution, the Berlin airlift. This airlift would be a way to get supplies to the families on the west side. During this mission, there were 2,777 flights that delivered more than 2.3 million tons of supplies. 73 Allied airmen would lose their lives to the great cause. Once the Soviets realized we wouldn't give in so easily, they stopped the blockade. Years of tensions would pass before finally, in 1961, President Kennedy would meet with Nikita Khrushchev to try and talk things out. This would lead the Soviet ruler to take drastic action to build the Berlin Wall. This wall was built to stop the Eastern German economy from collapsing. People from the East were not able to cross over to the West, and likewise. Now, the wall would not come down until 1989. During these in-between years, wars would be fought and our own government doubted. It was because of the fear of communism that we would jump into the Vietnam War, which would cause much strife with American citizens. The reason this is such an important part of U.S. history is because after the war, Russia and the U.S. were the big kids on the block. In the Cold War years, there were massive tensions between the two, and this would lead to what Ike warned us about, a military-industrial complex. In the coming years, we would focus more on military and foreign spending than domestic programs that were needed at home. Talking with my grandparents, though, I learned a great many things about the wall. First, guards stationed on the east side of the wall had to be married with families. This dropped their likelihood of crossing the border over to the west. Also, not everyone could travel to West Berlin. You had to have a special reasoning. My family's reasoning was being in the military. Early on in the Cold War, with the Berlin airlift, American soldiers were a big part of people's lives in West Berlin. With the airlift, while bringing supplies, they would drop parachutes made of hankies with candies inside. My grandmother and her sisters really looked forward to these packages. They also invited kids to Christmas dinners where they would give them gifts and stuff them full of cookies and give them some to bring home to their families. Talking with my grandmother and asking her how she could have been okay with all of this, she stated something that hit me. They grew up this way, and they knew no different. Her sisters remember stepping over the dead bodies of soldiers in the street. Many of the girls grew up during World War II. This was the time when Hitler promoted big families. As incentive, he would give medals to mothers based on how many children they had. My great-grandmother ended up with the Bronze Cross for having 5 children. Gold and silver were also included. Gold for 8 or more children, and silver to 6 to 7 children. For the 10th child, Hitler would personally be their godfather. Relating this all back to me, because of the Berlin Wall going up, my grandpa joined the military and was stationed in Germany, then was set up on a blind date with my grandmother. Because of all of these events, my family history came to be, and I am here today.